Just for the first time. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, now it's slowly doing it. Okay, I do see the chat. Okay, something's happened. Okay, it got starting soon. Yeah. Okay. Oh, they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on. Hold on for a minute. You know what? Let me do this transition.
We are here. Going on, everybody? I don't know if you guys can hear us, but give us 1 second and get this going.
We're testing this right now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, it says they hear us.
Okay, so
What's
you can
going on, everybody? What's up?
what's going on? Okay, so you can hear can you hear yep, you can hear KG. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and mute.
I can't get my mic to work on the platform right now. Sorry, but
Yeah, that's the
hopefully,
limitations
yeah.
right now. All right, let me go ahead and start. So, welcome to the second live stream that I'm performing, but this time I brought in a guest, or should I say, my host, partner in crime, KG, right now. How's it going,
So,
KG?
hey, man, it's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Hopefully, audio is good for everybody. Let us know if there's any problems on your guys' end. You won't be able to see me. That's a normal thing right now. I just can't get the camera to work for whatever reason. But yeah, I think it has something to do with permissions and the internet thing. I have to figure it out. But
Oh, that's perfect. We'll get around with that and stuff. So, I just want to say welcome everyone for joining the stuff. Want to say what's going on, Ramon. Moan over here. Just want to say what's going on to you and everyone out there and stuff. So we're gonna keep it short for today. We're not gonna do this stream too long because I'm still getting a little bit accustomed to everything. So yeah, so just bear in mind. I'm just gonna probably just stream for maybe like 30, maybe 45 minutes, depending on the crowd or depending on the questions that anybody want to ask and stuff. So one of the things that we're probably going to go ahead and cover is not only the rumors of LG C5 and G4 and
P5,
2025, yeah,
yeah,
2025 C5 and G5 and the Samsung S95F since
yeah,
they
kind of
skipping
weird,
a
right?
letter. What
Yeah,
was that?
kind of weird, right? Like they're going straight to F on that one. No E.
Yeah, which is kind of strange. We'll go into that a little bit more detail with that, and then also we're gonna talk about the PS5 Pro. I know some people care about it, some people don't care about it, but I want to talk about it because I love talking about tech. I love talking about gaming, especially how it performs now, especially having that and the PS5 and comparing those two to showing the good, the bad, and the okay uh, things about it and stuff. So we'll talk about that. And then
Hmm.
lastly, we're gonna go ahead and dive into the holiday sales because everybody like getting a good deal on TVs. So we're gonna bring that up as well too. And KG did a fantastic job covering that up in his latest video. Especially the video just came out earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, yeah, you just cover some more sales and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into that, and yeah, and then go from there and see how everything is going, and see if anyone have any questions. But I do want to say what's going on, Soup. Just want to give you a shout out too as well. Thank you for joining, and everyone else who's joining the chat as well too. So I'm about to go ahead and talk about the first topic, which KG already covered already, but I want to go over this in the stream. and then we kind of talk about it from there. So give me just a second while I transition to that. So what we're gonna go ahead and transition to is we're gonna be talking about the 2025 LG C5 and the G5, and then the Samsung S95F, rumored to be 83 inches. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So I did get this link off of High Def
Mhm.
on Twitter, or X now. I keep on calling it Twitter for whatever reason, but I guess it's one of those things that I'm still getting used to X nowadays.
It's
But
Twitter, it's X, it's whatever you wanna call it, really. It's you
yeah,
know,
so it's just
the
yeah,
artist
so it's just
formerly known as Twitter. It's
yeah,
whatever.
so it's one of those things that I'm still getting used to that. Yeah, I don't even know why Elon called it X, but anyway, SpaceX or whatever the case may be. So I'll just go with that. But anyway, so going back into the rumors and stuff like that, KG did a good job. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot to you if that's okay. You could talk about a little bit more
Okay, sure, yeah.
about this, because he made a dedicated video on this specifically, which I think everyone should go ahead and check out, because he did a lot of homework and he did a lot of rabbit hole searching about this. And just want to say KG did a phenomenal job, but I definitely want to talk about it in the stream because 2025 is coming up in another month, which is crazy how this year just flown by. So let me go ahead and pivot to KG. And you could talk about it a little bit more while I go ahead and scroll through this site on Reddit.
Yeah, so let's start off with, like, the LG G5 and the C5. So, a lot of people might have been surprised that, like, the C5 isn't probably going to have MLA, and I say that because there is no, like, tinting on it. Like, I can tell even with the, screen coating on it, not the screen coating, but the screen protector on it, I can tell when something has, like, that MLA layer on it or in it, because it has, like, this sort of reddish magenta tint to it, and you don't see that here. So you can see it here, right? With the G5, but, like, when you go to the C4, you can see it's clear, it's, like, white, like, there is no tinting whatsoever to the reflection, and so that's how I know that the C5 is likely just going to be pretty much a reprint of the C4, with some sort of enhancements to whatever they do, internally with it, but we know that it's not going to have this MLA enhancement that the G5 is going to have, like the G4 has, so no indication of MLA in the C5 kinda disappoints people. I never expected it, and here's why. I don't think that they're ever going to put any separation between the G5 and the C5. Sorry, I don't think that they'll ever put anything that won't make them separate. So, I don't think you'll get an MLA layer with the C5 when the G5 have it, because there's no reason to buy a G5 at that point for a lot of people in their mind. So they want separation between the G5 and the C5. And that makes sense, right? There's no clear separation years prior to MLA, and nobody really bought the G series. But now people are going after the G series because there's a separation factor. So yeah, the C5, it is what it is. It's kind of just its own thing. And then the G5, we don't know exactly, like, what's going to be with the MLA this year. We're hearing that it's going to be, like, up to 4,000 nits of brightness, claimed, so which means, like, maybe it'll get to 3,000 nits, like, in actuality, but we'll see. Like, a lot of this stuff is sort of hearsay right now. We'll learn more at CES, but that's kind of all for the G5 and the C5.
Well, let's talk about the C5 a little bit more. Do you think that they may make it a little bit brighter than the C4 of this current generation? And
Yeah.
then also, too, do you think they may add some more gaming features? I'm saying like gaming features because everything is starting to go up in refresh rate, because we got 144 hertz, and now all of a sudden, some TVs do 240 depending on the signal and stuff like that. So I'm just curious. Do you
Well
think that LG may?
There's
get to
only
that point.
one TV that does 240,
Yeah,
that
so
I know of, and it's the 8K, QN900D, but that's, able to get to 4K 240 hertz, but it's actually a 120 hertz panel. So, it's like there is definitely some limitations here with the C5, and it would have to have an upgrade to the panel itself, and I don't know if it is getting that. Um, it would be a shock to me if it went to 240 hertz. I know that's, like, a big hope for everybody. I don't think we're there yet. I have heard the rumors of 240 hertz TVs, like, about 2 years ago, like, that was going to be a thing coming in the next couple of years. So maybe it happens, but I would be really surprised. That said, anything is possible, but for me, it would definitely be a surprise if that happened. So, um, we don't really know though. There's no indication, based on these leaks. This is just telling us like what kind of panel it looks to be
well, what do you
and the
would like
design,
to
right? Like the design
yeah,
didn't change.
yeah, of course. So let me ask you, what would you like to see in the C5 for next year? Um, if if you if you could give a guess or inkling of what would you like to see out of LG
Well,
or hopes.
realistically, knowing what it is probably going to be, like I think the best thing that LG could do with the C series is just kind of put it in a different price bracket. Make it a little bit cheaper, man, because I think currently having it be the same price as, say, the S90D, it puts me off because that's a QD OLED TV, and there is definitely a case to be made for the C4 this year with the S90D in some cases, right? Like, there are some circumstances where the C4 does perform a little bit better, and it's weird. It has something to do with the way the TV tone maps, in HDR. So this is definitely an ongoing discussion of whether or not, people should get the S90D or C4 with me, and I always point people towards this, S90D specifically because of the QD OLED technology, right? And I have seen some things with the C4 this year, and I've seen this with OLEDs in the past as well. They just have this off angle tinting that drives a lot of people crazy. Some people may or may not see it. There is some green tinting, that is being reported more this year. And this is something that kind of has been a thing for a while, right? It's just whether or not it's going to be extreme enough to where you can see it. The B4 that I reviewed didn't have that green tinting, but the C4 did. And, QD OLED's not going to have that kind of thing. So screen uniformity wise, there's really a big advantage for QD OLED there. So I think C4 is at a disadvantage, so C5 will probably be at a disadvantage in that case too. One thing that LG does have going for it is that brand recognition. A lot of people know LG for OLEDs, and so therefore they will go for the C5 for an OLED. Also, the fact that it has Dolby Vision and the S90D doesn't have Dolby Vision, that'll be enough for people to still go with the C5. Like what the C5 will have internally, what I hope they have, I can't expect anything like crazy, you know? So like, a dream scenario would be, yeah, it's 240 hertz panel, like, or it's 240 hertz capable, like, that would be cool. I don't see it, so
Do you think they may have like the updated chip as well, just kind of like how the
nope,
C? Nope.
nope. I don't see it. I really think that we're still sticking with an A9 generation 8 here,
mm.
like, they're just gonna up the generation. I don't see them separated, like, I have no doubt in my mind that they will try to do that because I feel like the moment they separate the moment they get closer a and don't separate from the G5 is the moment they'll start to lose sales.
Mm. 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 So right now you see the C5, but even going against the, well, it wouldn't be S90E, it would be S90F. So you seeing just like as in specs wise, the only thing you could probably possibly think the LG can do is just mark the C5 lower than the S90F for next year. to compete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just kinda, like, open up at a lower price.
Mm, yeah. No, I'm on the same page too because it's just I didn't review the C4 this year. I know I reviewed the C3. I thought it was a good TV. I thought it was way too pricey for what it was, especially going against the S90C of last year. Especially S90C was QD-OLED, depending on the size that you was getting specifically. But when I was looking at the 65 inch C4
Mhm.
no, excuse me, not C4, but C3. I thought it was decent. I think it was a well-rounded TV, but I just felt like the only thing that was going against LG at that time was the price that they was charging,
Mhm.
selling it at compared to Samsung QD OLED and just QD OLED. I know people are going to talk about debate this, but QD OLED technology, I think it's better than WRGB OLED.
Yeah, I
So
don't think there's a debate to that. Like, I really
no,
don't. I think that
people
no, I
people
know,
do
that's
it.
people that are coping. There's people that are coping, right? Like, I feel like
Yeah,
that is just people that are straight up coping. Like,
yeah,
if you look at the technology, there's no QDOL is just a better technology. It has less faults,
mm,
and there's really no reason to pick a WOLED over a QD-OLED in many circumstances, and the only reason you would pick the G4 over the S95D has nothing to do with the TV technology itself.
mm, mm. Yeah. No, no, no. You know you're right about that. Yeah, that's a,
It's the processing, right? Like, that's what it is.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting next year, and I think just like how this year was, I think LG did a good job with the G4. It's going to be interesting what the G5 is going to offer next year. Because I think when we talked about the interesting part was when we talked about this last year, the year before that in 2023, when we was talking about what the G4 is going to do, and we kept on saying that we don't know if it could compete with the S95D now,
Mhm.
just based on just pure, color reproduction
And it
and
doesn't in that category, you know? So
yeah, it was kind of shocking that they was able to make it more brighter
mhm.
than the G3, which I thought was kind of really interesting. Interesting that they did that. But I wonder what they're gonna do for G5. What would you like to see out of the G5? You just think it's just gonna be a little bit brighter, or what would you like to see coming from LG?
I would like to say I would like to see, the G5 get brighter for sure. Like, also give us more options within your tone map, like the tone mapping. They did a really good job of that this year.
Mm-hmm,
And I think like they could do another good job of that this year. Like I feel like what they could do instead of making it so complex for people is maybe kind of simplify it a little bit. Not dumb it
mm,
down, but, like, maybe add terms to the values and stuff to let us know or to give different types of, behaviors to the tone mapping. And I feel like Samsung could do this as well, right? This isn't just an LG thing, this is something that I feel every TV manufacturer can do because tone mapping really makes a difference on the picture quality in HDR, like, to a ridiculous degree, right? So,
mm-hmm,
there's cases with the G4 where if you're just using the default tone mapping values, you're gonna get color that is just going to disappear at higher brightness levels. Like, it's just going to disappear. And the
mm,
only way to get some of that back is to, mess with the tone mapping, and if you're right in the right settings for it, you'll get some of that color back. But it's nowhere near the level of a QD OLED with color brightness in mind, but it's not, like, as bad as it seems.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's one of those things where they could fix that a little bit or maybe just make it a little less aggressive, give us a chance to get some of that color back. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's tough because you get brighter, but it's only making the TV brighter, like, at the end of the day, it's not making the color that much
mm,
brighter, you know? It's not gonna solve the problem of the TV lacking color purity compared to QD-OLED, so it's tough, and I see this question by low to high, or this suggestion, but from low to
Mhm.
high saying the C series has to get MLA to even think about competing with QD-OLED. While that's correct, trust me, LG won't do that until the G series gets something better than MLA
Or
or
if
moves away from WOLED entirely.
or they could give like a older generation of the
It could,
MLA.
yeah.
That's the only thing that I could possibly think of that the C series can get.
The problem with that though,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good idea, but the problem with that is, like, you have to understand that once the display companies move to a newer technology, they don't make the older technology anymore. So, like, when Samsung moves from generation 1 to generation 2 QD-OLED, they stop production on generation 1. When they
Mm,
move to generation 2 to generation 3, they stop production on generation 2. And
mm.
when they move to 3 to 4, they're going to stop production on generation 3. They've probably already stopped production on generation 3, like, this month, you know? That's just how it works, so they won't be able to just have a way to go back and put in the old technology, you know? So and
Yeah.
it's all a stack. It's all a stack. It's all made in one thing, so
Yeah, you're right. And to your point too, because low to high and even plasma TV for gaming, yeah, QD OLED is getting cheaper as well because they've mentioned that they see a S95C open box granted for $670, which is depending on the store. And some people said 760. That's a really good price.
Mhm.
It's even though
Yeah,
it's an older
clearanced
TV,
out, yeah.
yeah, even though it's an older
It's
TV, it's I reviewed the S95C and I thought I thought the TV was really good. I mean, the only issues that I had was when I was connecting my receiver to it and I was like playing games, I was getting these
Mhm.
little flickering these blackouts, and I mentioned
Yeah.
that before in the video. But when it came to picture HDR impact, it was like when it came to HDR impact, it was like way better than the X95K. But the only issue I had with that, besides the gaming portion of it, was just the size. The 70, it was only they only came in the 77-inch. Now, and this is a way to pivot this. The rumor is that Samsung is finally may come out with the 83-inch version.
Mhm.
So that I may change my mind and sacrifice a couple of inches to go with the QD OLED route, and we could talk about that more. How do you feel about that? Do
Yeah.
you think that's going to come out next year?
Uh You know, at first I didn't think it was going to come out because we didn't hear any rumors, but then I see the Samsung parts leak. And
Mm-hmm.
by the way, this leak is from a Samsung parts website, and this is the official, like an official Samsung website. So like Samsung really messed up here. So what we saw is that oh, your camera froze, by the way. I don't know if they can still hear me, but
Oh no! Hold on for a minute. Let's see if I can.
yeah, you froze, and also, Classy just texted me, said you're about 20 dB quieter than me, so,
Yeah, let me see if I can.
try to boost up your volume a little bit.
Yeah, I think I
But
did that for a
while
reason.
you
Go
do
ahead.
that, um, the the QD OLED in 83-inch size, I feel like that was a little bit surprising to me because we didn't hear any leaks, any rumors about it, but the reason why I think it's possibly true, like, I really do feel like there's a possibility here, is because it's from the Samsung parts website, right? And the fact that they do have all the different panels on there from different regions, and the fact that they are going off of, like, the, uh, the last 4 of the model name being different codes, right? And so we saw that in certain regions, they're getting WOLED 83-inch because it has EX within the first 4 of those, and then the other region doesn't. So, and that region being the UK. So I think, like, That's pretty telling, and the fact that the S95F is listed in 83-inch size is really an eye-opening thing for me because the S95 wouldn't ever really get an 83-inch size, and the S95 is gonna have an 83 in size according to Samsung parts. So this is why, like, I think this is certainly possible, and there was an interview with Flat Panels last year with Chirag from Samsung Display saying that they do wanna focus on bringing more sizes, of QD-OLED in the next coming years. So it does make sense, right? It makes sense. And I think it's possible that we see that 83-inch size. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, can you
Let me see if
how's this now? It's a little
I
bit.
can see you on stream now. Can you hear
Yeah,
me good?
yeah, I can hear you. It was my
You can still hear me,
camera.
right?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah, it was my camera. How's the volume now? Sounds better?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Maybe you guys can't hear me. Maybe type in chat if you can still hear me. Um,
I can still hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. Let me
I don't
see.
know if it's just on my end it froze. Please type in chat if you can hear me. Just type a little. I can hear you in chat. Um, so we know.
How about this? Hopefully. Can you see me, KG? Hello?
Let me refresh.
Hopefully, you guys. So, momentary setback. It happens. How's that? I can hear you just fine. I don't know if other people can hear me.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Max? I don't
Yeah.
hear you no more, man.
Yeah, hold on for a second.
Uh-oh.
Hold on for a minute. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, they said you can hear us both.
Okay, you can hear me. All right. So yes, I can hear you both. Um, okay, I hear you again now, Max.
Okay. Yeah, I think when my camera this is a
All right.
program that we're using, it froze up. So that's what happened.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all
Uh,
good.
yeah, it's
I
gonna
can see you
happen.
on stream, so that's fine.
Yeah, so I brought up the site as well too. So while you was talking, then we had a momentary issue. Uh so we good. So yeah, but going back to the 83-inch version. Yeah, I want to bring up the skew. That's what I was trying. Oh, the parts. That's what I meant to say. Oh, that's gonna be way too big.
all right.
How's the volume? Can people hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
let us know how the volume is now.
Yeah, I'm trying to test it. I'm testing out the volume right now. I did up my dB on this, so I know I don't want to get too close to the mic. So
Pretty good.
okay, all right.
Sounds fine for me. Let us know in chat though, because I know chat like here's different than we do sometimes. And all right, so
Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
on the topic of the 83-inch, like I was saying, um, you're showing the models here,
hmm
and the thing that people will need to look out for is the end, right? So we see FAE at the end of the one, I believe that's in the Netherlands, and then FAT at the end of the one in the UK, right? And then so if you see the FAE, that means that it is a WOLED by old indicators, right? So I say that because we don't know if it's going to change, right? So I don't want to say anything is guaranteed in that sense. Um, but going off of last year's indicators, EX, um, that meant WOLED. All right. So that is why I think it's really interesting that this happened. So should happen, right? Should happen.
Yeah, man, I'm just glad that Samsung is. I'm well. We don't know yet, so we'll see. We'll see and stuff. I really hope they do come out with the 83-inch version. But my other question that I'm thinking about now too is that if Samsung come out with an 83-inch version, do you think that Sony may do QD OLED 83 inch as
Yeah,
well?
they will. I just have a feeling that
You have
they
a
are
feeling?
going to. Yeah, I have a feeling that they are. I just think that it's just one of those things that it's so Sony for them to do it. I think if they don't do it, that should, like, make you think that something's wrong with something wrong. Something's going on. Like, there's not something's not right with Sony, like, if that doesn't happen, because it's just I know based on the history that this should happen for Sony, and if it doesn't, it's a red flag for me.
So why would you say it's a red flag? Are you just saying that maybe Sony is going to be purely focusing on the mini LED technology because they think that might be a better option for them? Or do you think it
Mm,
might be something else? I'm just throwing out. I'm not saying that Sony's going to do it or
if
not.
you don't see a QD-OLED this year, and I don't it doesn't even have to be 83 inch in this
Yeah.
sense, but, like, if you don't even see a QD-OLED this year, I'm saying there's something internally wrong. Like, there's something internally wrong. But I don't think that's what's gonna happen, and I think that you will see a QD OLED this year, and I think you will see a 83-inch size if it indeed does exist.
Yeah. So it's just now. So
And
since
it's
we
gonna cost like $8,000.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be astronomical. It's probably gonna be like $10,000, like how it was back when the
It's gonna be an
A90J.
arm and a leg, bro.
Yeah, is they gonna you know what's let's just I'm just gonna throw this rumor out there. If Samsung is doing an 83-inch QD OLED with like the panel going up to 83 inch now, and if it's true, and Sony more than likely would do the 83-inch version, then the next thing I'm thinking about is that, and we've been talking about this for the last 2 years now. Do you think that Sony is finally gonna come out with a updated processing chip?
Nope. Nah. I don't know, it would
Okay.
surprise me, honestly.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I feel like they're kinda caught up on this XR thing,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, and the thing to remember about that is they all have their own terms in what they use, and so we don't wanna get caught up too much in the marketing hype,
Mm-hmm.
'cause that's all I'll say, and when it comes down to, like I've gotten this with the EX, from, not the EX, the Evo stuff from LG as well, right? Like, people are like, "Oh, it's not Evo, it's not Evo," and it's like, yeah, it won't be Evo unless it meets a certain criteria that LG has designated, right? Like, so for LG, in order for it to get Evo, it needs a number of different things. It needs, like, the brightness booster, moniker on it. It needs, like, God, what else? I believe, jeez. See, I don't even wanna say it 'cause I'll forget it,
Yeah.
but there
Yeah.
you can look
Yeah.
it up, and you
Mm-hmm.
can see how they like, will give it the Evo terms. Like, it won't meet the Evo spec unless it has certain things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's kind of the same way with other companies as well. You don't know exactly what any of the stuff actually means, um, and whether or not it's actual hardware versus actual software, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they could improve things and call it a hardware improvement or make it look like a hardware improvement, but really it's just software, right? Like XR Clear, for example. XR Clear really had nothing to do with the hardware. That was just like a software enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's why I don't know
I
what
mean,
to
they've
think
been they
about like if they're going to upgrade anything. I feel like they'll make software improvements, sure, but people are saying like, "Will it finally have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports?" And probably not. Like, I don't think that's a priority for them. I really don't.
yeah.
And a lot of people are gonna just say like, "Oh, it's MediaTek's fault." But like MediaTek makes stuff for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sony just
Yeah.
buys what is there. And I don't like I don't have an answer for it. I don't think it's a priority for them. Like, I really
Mm-hmm.
don't see it as a priority for them to get 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. Could it
Yeah.
happen? Sure, it could happen, but, like, they clearly showed that it's not something that they stress over. They downplay it as much as possible too.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I hope. I'm just wishing, but I've been wrong every single year that I'm thinking like Sony's gonna come out with a new processor. So it would be nice. The only reason I'm just saying it would be nice because I think the last time it updated processor was back in 2020. Was it 20 or 21? The A90J. I was trying to
It's been a
remember.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So um
I think A80J was the XR first, right? Like, the
yeah.
first time they started using the XR,
Yeah, I think that
marketing
I
and
know
all
it was a
that.
J. It started with the J and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if like I said, I want to hold my breath for Sony because we always keep on talking about, well, we like to see this out of Sony, and Sony kind of like do their own thing, just like how they did with the mini LED version on the Bravia 9, where they came up with their own, technology wise. So who's to say? Yeah,
Yeah,
who
and
knows and
I feel
stuff.
like the Bravia 9 is a good example of a wait and see kinda TV. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I really think, like, the Bravia 9 this year, and I'm responsible for some of this, is, like, I built it up a little bit more than, like, I feel just because I thought it was going to be something that was, like, groundbreaking for mini LED TVs, and it kind of was in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like, it does a really good job, like, when you look at it by itself, it contrast is pretty good for a mini LED TV, all this stuff, right? But then, you go and put on, like, a Hisense U8N, it's not far off, man. It's crazy.
No.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how Sony can do better with mini LED other than just like, okay, make more zones, improve it more, but, like, man, I do feel like it's just not gonna be close to OLED. It's just not. And and that's kinda where I am with mini LEDs now. It's like you've
Yeah.
gotten OLEDs to this point where they've gotten so bright,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's hard to even recommend a mini LED TV to people unless they're in a certain price bracket where the U8N or the QM8 makes sense or the QM7. I feel like the QM7 and the U7N is kinda like my go-tos for people that can't get to an OLED. And if you can get to a U8N or a QM8, chances are you can get to an OLED. Like, chances
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
there's something out there for an like, right now, you can get a 65-inch S90C for $1,000 straight up, just like
Yeah.
right now, you can buy that, $999 at Best Buy, like and at Samsung, but I think they sold out, but it's still available at Best Buy still, and
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about QD-OLED 65-inch for $999. It's the same price as, like, QM8 or, U8N, and it's like, why would you buy a mini LED TV over a QD-OLED at this point?
Yeah, and I think I talked about for myself, it was more of size. So that's why I went that route with the mini LED and stuff. But I always,
Yeah,
like I said, I'm not,
I get that.
I tell people this all night and day. QD OLED, QD OLED, QD OLED, and QD OLED. I always said that that was always a superior technology and stuff, unless don't get me wrong, mini LED has been getting better every single year when it
Mhm.
comes to I know we talk about brightness all the time and stuff, but when it comes to HDR impact, they are doing a really good job. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think when it comes to the price of what Sony is charging for it, with the Bravia 9 specifically, I'm not talking about the 7, but the Bravia 9. When I was looking at the QM8, uh yeah, that TV was pretty good. It has its faults. And I talked
Mhm.
about like the
Yeah.
black crush and stuff. That was like some of the things. But at the same time, too, I even forgave it because I kept saying to myself, like, damn, it was only $1,000 for a 65 inch. So, or I think it was like less than $1,000 for a 65 inch. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, I'm good with this. Like 99.9% of the content and stuff like that, it was doing just as well and stuff. Granted, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, there are here things here and there. You had to massage it a little bit with the picture settings and you had to tweak it a little bit. And that's why I kind of wish that TCL, if you are listening, if you could do like some more additional settings and stuff like that, kind of like how LG does theirs and Sony
Mhm.
and stuff. And I think Samsung is doing a better job as well too. But it's just like with TCL and Hisense was the same way too. It's like they give you the generic menu. You only got a couple of things you could tweak here and there. You really can't fine tune things until you go into the 2 point or the 10 point. It just those are kind of like the things I kind of wish they have more options with. Maybe next year and stuff like that. But other than that,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. I had issues with the gaming. My camera just overheated, so I'm about to switch to something else right quick.
Oh, it's
Uh,
good.
yeah, my cameras seem like it's overheating for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, we could keep on
Let me,
talking. But
um, let me touch on this, comment here. He says, "We've been spoiled by MLA and higher brightness from QD-OLEDs for similar price as the Bravia 9." And, like, I agree. We've seen OLED TVs evolve, and I think this is the point that I've been trying to make the last 2 years is there used to be a point where mini LED TVs formerly we talked about, before mini LED, we talked about full array local dimming TVs as they are being, a reason to go with if you look for higher brightness, a better HDR impact. That is no longer the case in
mm,
most circumstances where for HDR impact, I will say a mini LED TV is going to be better than a premium OLED TV. There's not many like, reasons to do that. Like, I can't find many scenes where I'm like, "This looks better on a mini LED TV compared to a G4 or an S95D." It doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't. So, that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand about, LCD TVs. The way that the local dimming has to be performed, there is going to be sacrifice in the HDR highlights, especially when you're talking about darker scenes. So, that is why I cannot, for the life of me, like, see why anybody would pay the same price for a mini LED TV versus a premium OLED TV. And that's why as much as I love the Bravia 9, and it is the best mini LED TV that I've personally seen this year, and it is a really good step up for mini LED TVs. I do not think it should be the same price as a premium OLED. I don't think it's in the same category as a premium OLED. So, that's where I struggle with that. And I think, like, people looking at a Bravia 9, you can get almost as like, what you could get with the Bravia 9 and a Bravia 7. But the Bravia 7 there, I wouldn't even go with that because it's close to a OLED. Like, you can get OLED technology for the
mhm,
Bravia 7 now. So, it's like that's why I think the U7N and the QM7, they make sense because they are at a price point where you don't have access to OLEDs.
mhm,
But the ones higher than that, we start to have that conversation where it's like, "Why, bro?" And I'm not gonna take, like, people say, "Oh, there's this OLED bias." It's not OLED bias, it's your eyes. Use your damn eyes. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's like
yeah,
you have to understand there is a huge difference right now between the technologies, and it's not gonna change unless mini LED starts to get, a lot more zones. I mean, a ton more zones, or you cannot compete, and then also on top of that, it's just the technology, man. It's really just self-emissive technology versus non-self-emissive technology at this point, and when you
yeah,
can get your HDR impact, higher brightness levels, it's not a competition.
mhm,
And that's the part that I struggle with, like, when people are like, "Oh, but I really want a mini LED TV," and, like, the only reason people will give me is, like, "I'm afraid of burning." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can't calm your fears on that, I can just tell you, like, it's really rare." But if people are dead set on mini LED TVs, I do tell them, like, "I feel like you're making a little bit of a mistake here." Like, I really do. So, I don't know. The other argument to that is like, okay, SDR is still pretty good for mini LED TVs, but I don't know who's watching SDR at ridiculous brightness levels other than, like, maybe sports,
Yeah.
you know?
Speaking of sports, go Lions. Had to throw that
Yeah,
in
dude,
there.
that's yeah, go Lions for sure because they 'cause they're doing really
Uh,
good. Go
they killed
Broncos,
it.
they're doing better than a lot of people thought, right? So,
Yeah, had to throw that in
got
there.
cheated.
Go Lions.
Yeah.
Had to throw that in there, but no, I agree with you, and I yeah, I think the only I don't know, to be honest with you, the only way I think that mini LED is gonna keep continuing what it's doing is it has to be cheaper than OLED, period,
Has to be. That's okay, that's
period.
the other argument, right?
That's like the
Like,
first
the
thing.
98 inch
Yeah.
that you can get a 98 inch LCD TV right now
Mhm.
for, like, a fraction of what you can get a G4 83 inch for. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
there's that argument, and I do say, "Yeah, okay, you're right," because I can get a really enjoyable experience out of a 98 inch QM7. I really
Mhm.
can, and
Yeah.
I won't be like, "Damn, I miss, OLED technology," because I have a 98-inch TV.
Oh,
So, like,
yeah.
I see that argument.
Yeah, because even projectors, I would even say this. I haven't had a projector. Well, I still got an old projector in the closet every now and then I use. But like even the newer projectors and stuff, and I'm talking about price. I'm not talking about the 10,000, the 20,000, the 30,000 price range projectors. I'm talking about the same price as the 98 inch. And I'm talking about, with the U7 type price range. Like the picture quality wise, is like I think you're gonna get a way better impact with the Hisense than you are than any projector at that I'm talking about price range. I'm being very specific about that at that price range, at that size. I don't think you can. I don't think you compete with that and stuff. So that's going to be a hard argument. But going back to your point, yeah, I
Mhm.
think price is the most important part for mini LED. And I think two would be yeah, they get in brighter, but they would have to get I think someone said in the comments, I think it was either Junior Fries said this, it had to get like 6, 7, 8,000, 10,000 nits to
Yeah,
even
plasma.
yeah. Yeah,
Plasma
plasma,
TV
yeah.
for
Oh,
gaming.
excuse me, yeah, plasma
Shout out to
TV.
Plasma TV for gaming.
Shout out to Plasma on this one. I'm looking at your comments right now. Oh yeah, I just want to let everyone know. Thank you for joining the stream and stuff. We got 16 people still on here. Just want to say thank you. It's my second time streaming and stuff. We had some little
Mhm.
bit technical difficulties, but I'm still working things out. But I just want to thank everyone who's joining so far. But going back to the mini LED portion of it is that yeah, it has to get a lot more brighter, and then well, I would say that would be third, and the second would be the zones part because you talked about that a lot. It had to have a lot more dimming zones to really compete, and then
Yeah.
processor as well to compete with those zones, and then the HDR impact when it comes to the brightness. So those are kind of like the four things I look for as well, and
Mhm.
then maybe no, that's yeah, yeah, number 1 is price. It's like as much as I love the Sony Bravia 9, guys, Sony, y'all shot yourself in the foot with this one. I think it should be
Yeah.
$1,000 cheaper than what you're offering and stuff. A lot cheaper. So that's just my
This
opinion.
isn't nothing new though for Sony though. I
Mhm.
That's the problem is I don't think they realize the value proposition in the TV world, or they don't care about it because they've got enough people that are willing to, spend extra for their products. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I think that well, this is what TCL and what Hyson is doing, and this is kind of like another thing I want to go over. But before I do that, do you got time to talk a little bit more? If you're okay with that, if you cool
Yeah,
with
yeah,
time.
yeah, I'm good,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah, because we doing this on Wednesday. Usually we be on KG channel on Fridays and stuff like that. But I'm trying to do a lot more streaming nowadays and stuff because
Yeah, I do plan on
me
stream on Friday, so if you wanna hop on,
yeah, so we'll go ahead and alternate, but I'm gonna try to put more content. And I said I was gonna start streaming, so I'm making my attempts. But going back to TCL and Hisense, it's like each year they making crazy improvements. I mean, like
mhm,
really, really, really good improvements. And I'm at a point right now that I can't say those TVs are bad at all.
they're
I
not
can't
bad.
say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't say that. It's like if I say those TVs are bad, it's just like it is something wrong with my eyes. And they are so close when I'm talking about like Samsung mini LED, like the S90
yeah,
QN90D. I was about to say the S90, the QN90D line of
yeah.
Q95D. Sony TVs. It's just like they are it's crazy how close they are. And don't get me wrong, they have some faults, but the price that they charging for these TVs, it is crazy to that the other manufacturers are not looking at this and saying like we have to do something and stuff. That's just kind of like my viewpoint. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah. No, I think, like, that's gonna be the interesting thing, like, with CES, are we gonna see any improvements, on the mini LED front from Samsung and LG? I mean, LG, I think you can already just say no. Like,
Oh yeah.
we saw what they did this year. It's, like, not a bad TV by any means, but,
Mm-mm.
like, not something that competes, right? Like, I'd definitely rather have a U8N over a QNED 90. Like, that's just
Hmm.
how I feel about that. And same thing with the QN90D versus the U8N. I feel like I'd rather have a U8N, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
and that's one thing where the QN90C was really good. I thought that performed really well. There was reasons to keep that. Um, the QN90D felt like a little bit of a step back, honestly. And I don't
Mm.
know why. And I also think that maybe I created this kind of thought in my mind from when I visited Samsung. They invited me out there to go check out like the S95D, the QN90D, and the QN900D. I believe those were the 3 TVs there. Oh, and
Hmm.
the frame, and then like they had like the music frame there and some other stuff, and the Q990D soundbar. But seeing the QN90D, right after seeing the S95D, I'm like, what are we doing here? That's how I felt. I was like, what are we doing here?" The
Hmm.
QN90D just doesn't look anything comparable to the S95D. Like, the S95D was on a whole 'nother, like, playing field, another realm. Like, what are we doing here? The QN90D doesn't compete. So it's like, it looked like I was looking at a dull LCD TV after seeing the S95D. And then, like, I was playing with the settings, I was like, "Something's wrong with this TV, right? Like, I'm in the wrong mode or something," and me and FOMO were, like, switching back and forth, trying to figure out how to make the TV look good, and, you know, that's one of the, like, funniest experiences I remember having there, is that that was, like, an eye opener, is like, Samsung really is going all in on OLED now. Their
Hmm.
really main focus is OLED now. I don't know how much they're really putting into the mini LED TVs anymore. It
Yeah.
feels like a lot of the same from year after year, and with the panel switch this year, them going to a VA panel from having ADS, the year before, I felt like it was a bit of a downgrade, man, and then watching Classy stream where he was doing the QN90D, and I just kept noticing things, and he noticed things, pointed them out, and he was just like, "This ain't it, bro." He didn't say that, but he might as well have said it, you know, he and then, like, I just got that feeling, I was like, "What happened?" You know, the QN90C was so good. So, yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
things where I feel like maybe they dropped the ball this year
But they starting to
with the
get out
Neo
the game
QLED
too, cause
line.
yeah, cause they start, well, they stopped the manufacturing of their panels now, so that's I don't know if that's like the nail in the coffin right there, then I don't know what is because they were so adamant about, mini LED TVs for the longest time. So
Yeah.
I think that's interesting, to say the least and stuff. Hold on for just 1 second. I'm gonna switch cameras again, but maybe
Alright.
I'll look at some of these questions right quick. And
Yeah.
maybe you can answer them. Let me just switch cameras.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say this though, I feel like they should definitely focus on OLED like they are doing. I do think it is a shame that other regions are getting, like, stuck with WOLED, where other regions get QD-OLED, and then there's, like, this confusion, which is why I made that video, the S90D decoded video. And I'm glad I made that video because that video helped out so many people. Like, that's probably the best video that I made this year because it helped so many people. You know, it
Mhm,
wasn't the most viewed video, but the amount of people replying, saying thank you for making this video was really cool to see. And I'm glad I made that video because I helped people find out like what their TV actually is.
mhm, mhm.
Because they're not transparent about it. Samsung's not telling you this is a WOLED, not telling you this is a QD-OLED, so
Yeah, and it seemed like they may be doing that again next year, so that's kinda
Oh,
like
yeah,
another.
no doubt. Yeah, it
Yeah, and I
does
think you
appear that
talked
way.
about that, and yeah, the video just came out. Was it today? Today? I keep on getting my days mixed up, but you just came
It
out
was a
with a
couple days
video.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
came out. And you just talked about it and stuff. So, yeah, check that video out as well too, because KG's been like pumping these videos out like crazy with all this news and information. So, yeah, check his channel out and stuff. Subscribe to his channel as well and stuff. So, but yeah,
appreciate it.
it's no, it's crazy. I don't know where Samsung head is at because it's like they've been pushing mini LED for the longest time 8K, and that's kinda like a that's a funny thing 'cause before I'm gonna keep this short because I know we're gonna talk about sales, in a second because I do have the screen up for Best Buy showing, Samsung OLED, well, Best Buy, Samsung OLED, but Samsung was pushing this 8K TVs for the
Mhm.
longest time, and I've been getting the funny thing is I've been getting a lot of comments about, "Hey, do you still recommend a 8K TV?" And I was just so blunt, it's like, "No." It's just it's no content out there, and Sony stopped doing 8K TVs, pretty much almost all the manufacturers kinda, like, don't do 8K TVs, uh,
Yeah.
is LG kinda, like, dropped it as well too. And I think Samsung and I think Hyson, I think one of the models, you get the option between 8, I think the 8K and then the regular 4K. I think it's the UX, version, if I'm not mistaken. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you had the option either one or the other. But it's just like not like 8K is just not there yet. It's just like the content is not there. Everything going to streaming. So that's kind of like another issue on its own too. Cause you're not really getting true 4K because everything is, they go through this little converter and stuff. I'm not gonna go into too much details about that, how they do it with streaming, but we don't have, they really haven't been selling 4K disc anymore. And so it's kind of like now all of our content is streaming nowadays, unless you get a Kaleidoscape, which costs a lot of money. And I don't think a lot of people is going to go out and get a Kaleidoscape and go into that realm. But it going back to the 8K portion of it is just I can't recommend it anymore. Even with the PS5 Pro, they even have an output now for 8K.
Mhm.
It and I even touched about the PS5 Pro in the stream. Um It's still not there yet. I mean, you don't have a lot of games that support it. Even graphic cards nowadays, it's like it's very hard to even touch the 8K realm and stuff. So no, I
Yeah,
see.
8K is not ready yet.
Yeah,
It's not
8K
ready yet.
at all.
It's just yeah, it's just not ready yet, and I will say this, though, about the QN900D. It's a it's a great TV, and if OLED TVs didn't exist,
Yeah,
I could easily recommend that TV. You know, same thing with the Bravia 9. Like, if OLED TVs didn't exist, easily recommend that TV. But they do
yeah,
exist, and we can't live in that world. And, like,
yeah.
that's the problem with the TV, space right now is that it feels like I'm a villain at times with some people because I say things like that. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't wanna just, like, alienate people away from a mini LED TV, but I also don't wanna lie to them. I wanna be truthful and say, like, "Hey, like, this is actually not a good idea for you to go that route." Like, if you care about contrast and picture quality, which contrast is the majority of picture quality, you should probably not be going that route. So, yeah, I mean, it's just what can you do, though, when somebody's mind is made up? You know, you just have to help them see the best mini LED TV in that situation, I guess.
Or
Um,
let them experience
yeah.
it, and then from there, they could just, I don't wanna say be
And here's the thing,
regretful, but
they're not bad TVs though,
yeah.
right? If they don't see what they're
Mhm.
missing, then they'll never know, and it will always be, like, a great experience no matter what TV they buy, and I try to tell people that too. It's like, you know, there's not really bad TVs. There there's not really bad TVs, especially when you get past a certain threshold, and then there is also diminishing returns with everything you buy. So, like, the U7N, for example, and the QM7, I say this because that is where you start getting the diminishing returns of an LCD TV. You get
Mhm.
past that, you're getting minor increases, right, for LCD TVs. And then once you get to an LCD TV and you hit that higher mark, then, well, you can get better picture quality with an OLED TV. And then once you go to an OLED TV, oh, then you start to hit diminishing returns again with your picture quality, and the only thing that can get better is little minor incremental upgrades. You know, you can get better HDR brightness, you can get better peak brightness in general, like, you can go to an MLA OLED, you can go to the latest QD-OLED, but most people probably don't need to spend anything close to what the premium TVs cost. They'll be fine with the mid-range OLED. And I think
Mhm.
you'll get probably the most picture quality you need at that point. And everything else is just kinda not overkill, but you're definitely paying for a premium at that point, and you're paying for the luxury. So, helping people understand that, um, the premium models are just that, they're luxury purchases.
Yeah.
You know, is something I try to do as well.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's go ahead and switch it up to the sales portion, the holiday deals, but do wanna give a shout out to, Classy as well for joining. Thanks for stopping by and stuff. Appreciate it, sir. Haven't talked to you in a minute. Hopefully we, talk after the stream and stuff and keep in touch. But it's good seeing your name here. But let me go ahead and pull out the unpopular OLED. But
Yeah,
who's
we
to
could talk
say?
about this one. Let's
we could
talk about this one.
we could talk
So,
about this one. You covered this one, so but we need to talk about it. So the first
alright,
the first
so let's
one,
make
what?
history real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, not to say, like, you missed out on one of the best deals ever, but earlier this year, there was the 77-inch, um I forgot the name of it again. That's not what is
With
it? The S89C.
Yeah.
The 77-inch S89C, you missed out on that for 15.99. It was
Mhm.
15.99 or 16.99, something like that, for
Mhm.
weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I said, "Don't miss this. It's gonna be good. This is it. You're not gonna find a better deal than this." And we're not. You're not. You're just not. It's not gonna happen. So, this right here for 17.99, this ain't it. So, this is going to be a WOLED TV. This is not a QD-OLED TV. Do not get mistaken that it's a QD-OLED TV. I've already got people reach out to me saying they bought this TV and they're happy with their QD-OLED TV, and I'm like, "No, you should take a picture of it and look at the pixels." And they're like, "Ah, dang, you're right. It's not a QD-OLED. I'm gonna take it back." And I was like, I'm sorry you had to find out that way." But That's just how it goes. And
Yeah,
these are WOLED TVs. They're not QD-OLED TVs. This is probably gonna be 15.99 on Black Friday, which is a
yeah.
good deal even for a WOLED, right?
For the
Like,
size too, for the
yeah,
size
it's
of
a
it too.
good
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
And so this is the competitor to the B series. This
Mhm.
is also known as the S85D, and that's just what this TV is. It's a WOLED. So just so you guys know out there, don't get confused when you see this model.
Yeah, so well, I mean, you could get the TV, but just know that you're not getting a QD OLED. So,
Mhm.
that's something to kind of like talk about. Uh, so
Unless you find one
yeah,
open box, the cheapest QD OLED 77-inch you're gonna find is 21.99 on Black Friday.
yeah,
It
and then
you
people,
might be able to get lucky and get one for 2,000, but and then
yeah,
also, there is the Samsung discount program, which Soup shout out to Soup, he's in the chat, he's like, "Thank you for showing me this." He got, like, a bunch of stuff through that, and,
hmm
you'd be surprised at what you can get from the Samsung discount program, so see if you're eligible for that.
oh yeah, you get some
'Cause you can
crazy
get some
discounts.
sales. Yeah. And not just Samsung either, you can do that with LG as well, they have a partner program for
Hmm
first responders and military. Somebody said they got their 83-inch G4 for, like, 40 4,400 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's that's crazy and stuff. So yeah, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So yeah, especially with these prices. But let's go ahead and switch to yeah, the S90D. And you talked about that just a second ago. I'm just adjusting everything right now.
Yeah.
But
Good
I just
deal.
pulled up the S 90D, and yeah, you reviewed this TV and you really like this TV for the
Mhm.
price that was at. Maybe you could kind of like talk, or if you cool talking about the S90D compared to S95D, about when you was doing your review, how you felt about this TV compared to even the
Yeah.
C4, because we just talked about C4 earlier today,
Right.
earlier in the stream and stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, and this is my opinion here, like, I do think the S90D is the one that people should go with in the mid-range category. I think the C4 is good, but I feel like the S90D just offers so much more than what the C4 gave me, like, picture quality wise. I felt like I was getting better HDR impact in video games specifically,
mhm,
and that's something like, if you're a gamer, I would go with the S90D. Now, you do have to, like, use caution because, like, with HDR and setting up HDR, you do have to do a little bit of a workaround with the contrast. You have to lower it a little bit in
mhm,
order to not get it to clip, and I don't know if that's fixed or not. Like, I haven't messed with the S90D since launch, so I can't even say if that's, like, a thing anymore, but that's
mhm,
how it was at launch, right? Um, and I do like the S90D a lot. I think it's a great TV, but what surprised me is, like, how much better the S95D was. Like, that really surprised me because I thought that the S95D was significantly better than the S90D this year. And last year, the S95C was not significantly better than the S90C. But this year, it's like a step up, like a big step up. And
mm,
so, like, they did create a separator this year, and you could tell.
that's good.
So not only do they limit the peak brightness on the S90D, like, you don't get to the same level as the S95D in the first place,
Yeah.
but it's just even the color brightness seem better on the S95D. It's using the 3rd generation QD-OLED, from Samsung Display, so it's got those properties with it too, so, yeah, I mean, to me, it was a big difference. I know
Mhm.
there's outlets out there that say, "Oh, the S90D is better," and I'm like, "How? What are you seeing?" Because I
Yeah.
don't see it. And trusted professionals that I talk to, feel the same way. So,
Yeah. No, and you know what? I am going to put out a video. It might not be this week. It's probably going to be next week because I'm still talking, still looking at the PS5 Pro. But I went to BJ's And I don't know if you do you have BJ's in your area? It's kinda like, Costco and Sam's Club.
Nah, uh-uh.
Yeah, it's a wholesale. Yeah, it's
I
like the
know
same
I'm
thing.
familiar with it, yeah.
Yeah, so BJ's is just like Sam's Club and Costco's, but I walked in there and granted this was an open box, but they had a S90D. It was going for it was just under $1,100 for a 70. I think it was a 65 inch. I had to look at the video one more time. No, it wasn't 65. It was a 77 inch. 77 inch, which I thought was kind of crazy
Mhm.
for it. And it was nothing wrong. And I took a look at it too, and I was like, "It's nothing wrong with this TV." And I was really close to picking that up. And so I was like, "Man, it's kinda interesting," but you really get some really good deals at Costco and Sam's Club and, even BJ's that's in, like, for TVs nowadays because now automatically you get a 3-year warranty with those, no questions asked, as in, like, if something happens to the TV, and so I know I'm showing Best Buy right now, and Best Buy can kinda been they've been lacking, lately and stuff, but I'm not gonna go into that. But anyway, but it's like, if you look at the, like, Costco's or Sam's Club, they've been giving some really, really good prices and good deals and on top of, a warranty to throw in a warranty and stuff. So I don't know what they're gonna
Yeah.
do for Black Friday.
In
Uh,
store, like,
yeah.
they have deals, right? Like, some specific deals, that are only in store, so, like,
Mhm.
sometimes it's worth just checking out and locally seeing. I know they clearanced out for some reason, like, the C4
Mhm.
48" was clearanced out at, like, $600 or something like that, some ridiculous price. It's because they didn't have enough space. Certain Costcos didn't. So, like, it really depends on the Costco itself, and it's like a manager decision whether or
Mhm.
not they do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I like Best Buy because you can price match. So, like,
Yeah.
they're straight up going to give you the lowest price. Say, for some reason, this randomly drops on Amazon, and I put Amazon here because Amazon's a wild card, and sometimes Amazon will see the third party lowering a price, and they'll, like, match it themselves
Mhm.
because that's what they do. Even though that's not what's supposed to happen, and the way that TV sales works, guys, is that once a TV goes down in price, it's that price for all the retailers, right? Like, it doesn't reflect anywhere else like that, like, as far as I know,
Mhm.
but with TVs, it does. So if a TV has a certain sale price, it's gonna be that price everywhere, with the exception being Amazon, where Amazon sees it third party, like, Waltz TV or AV Pro Shop or whatever. I don't know the names. I can't remember straight off the top of my head, but like some, the camera manufacturer or the camera companies, the camera sales people. Anyway, if they drop the price, Amazon like, all right, well, we can't have a third party be lower than us, so they drop it. And then when
Mhm.
they drop it, they're now a first party drop. So when a first party drops, you could be like, hey, Best Buy, Amazon dropped it. Let me get some money back. And they'll give you money back because they dropped the price. So
Yeah.
watch out for those if you are buying a TV or if you have already bought a TV, keep an eye out on the TV that you bought and like put a price tracker on it, or watch my community tab. I'm always telling you when prices are dropping. Like this is something you want to be aware of because you'll save money.
Yeah.
Like, for example, people bought a 1799 B4 77" or that one we just showed, the S85D.
Mhm.
Um,
Let me see if I can
that's
pull
gonna
that
drop.
back up.
That's gonna drop
Mhm.
to 15.99. That should drop to 15.99. So
Yeah. And then on top of that too, the more I'm thinking about it, FOMO just posted on his channel too that Samsung, I think there's an additional discount on the S95D. I gotta look at it. Don't quote me on this because I'm just going off of when I was looking at it
yeah, he's
earlier.
talking about what I was talking about earlier,
Yeah,
the discount program, right?
yeah.
That's
So
specifically for people that can get it. And then AAA members also are eligible for some sales.
yeah, so yeah, check that post out and KG posts as well too because they've been putting some really good stuff on there. So it's crazy to see that you could get some of these TVs for those prices. So I just had to just throw that out there and stuff. So
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
gonna talk about this one real quick. He says, this is
yeah, go
Colby.
ahead.
Shout out to Colby. Thanks for the question. He says, I ended up getting a C4 over S90D because I was wanting an 83 inch and both were WOLED at that size. And yeah, so those sizes are always going to be WOLED this year. And so he said he went with LG because he likes LG's processing. And that makes sense. If you're going with the WOLED and they're equal, you pick the one that you like the most at the end of the day, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's what I tell people is if the technology is equal, think about the operating system, think about the processing, and think about just the things you feel comfortable with and the things that you want, the features you want. That's what I tell people. Like, there's gonna be people that go the other route where they're like, "Oh, I went with Samsung because I like Game Motion Plus." They're the only ones that offer that. Or they like something, that Samsung specifically only has or something, like, maybe they like the way that their contrast enhancer works. I don't know why, but maybe that they
Yeah,
did, right? But that's the thing, it's like, go with the things that you know about and are comfortable with if all things are equal,
yeah,
and
and
that's a
then
really good example of that.
yeah, and then going back to LG, I don't know how true this is. I'm gonna have to check the TV out, but they said some content creators was mentioning that they came out with a firmware update for the gaming portion.
Nah, that's false, bro.
That's
Yeah,
false.
I could
Okay,
already tell you that's false, yeah.
yeah. So I just had to make sure.
It's not brighter,
I was
it's not
kind of
brighter,
interested.
it's not brighter. There's this,
Yeah,
false thing out there that it's brighter, it's not.
yeah. So I just
Yeah,
was
the
like, I said,
G4 is not brighter after an update, the C4 is not brighter after an update, that's false.
yeah. So I just had to throw that out there because I was like, I have to take a look at that about it. Want to put that as rumor. So you confirmed it, so that's a good thing. So, yeah, because I was, like, looking at that, I was like, "Really?" and stuff, so but, yeah, I'm just looking at plasma TV right now, gaming. It look like he got I don't know what
Yeah,
TV
he
he
got
had
he got
this.
his money back on a S90C, so he got
Yeah.
the open box S90C, or actually, I think he got it brand new because it was on clearance, so he went and got a better clearance price because in the computer, it was lower,
Mhm.
so he ended up getting the lowest clearance price, and
Mm.
that's a really smart move by him to do that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a really good deal. Yeah, he lucked out on that one, and stuff, so let me see here. Let me see what other TVs that I could kinda go through
Yeah,
right
and while you're
quick.
looking, if you guys have questions, about, like, what TV should I buy this Black Friday, or if you just have any general questions, now's the time to ask them for sure, and we'll get to them.
Yeah, I only got like maybe like 10 more minutes and stuff. If you're okay
That's
with
cool.
that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, let me go ahead and go into yeah, TCL QMA. So yeah, so I reviewed this TV and I thought it was good. I mean, 65-inch for
Right.
$1,000. And stuff. It got the same operating system as pretty much I meant the TVOS, excuse me. The Google TV is the same as
Yeah.
like what is on Sony and stuff like that. And Hisense as well. Pretty much everyone is using Google TV except for LG and Samsung. They're doing their own thing. But
I'll say this, man, I like Google TV.
I like it
So
too.
I have it in my bedroom, and
Yeah.
I'm using my Hisense U8 right now, and
Hmm.
I like Google TV. I was surprised at how much I actually liked it.
Yeah.
But,
It's
it's
getting
just
better.
I use it with the AirPods, at night sometimes, so, like, it's just really easy to connect those.
Hmm.
Just, like, pop open the thing, hit Bluetooth. It's just a really easy shortcut to get those to work. Even when I had it connected to another device, it's just so easy. Like, I just love how seamless it is.
Hmm.
And then also just getting in and out of YouTube and YouTube TV. It's all integrated, it all feels, like, really good. So it's like this goes back to, like, what you like and what you're comfortable with and what you feel. I'm liking that now. Yeah, right? Like, I'm liking that experience more than I did in the past.
Yeah, it's been getting better
Um,
and better.
so I got
So
surprised by that.
yeah, yeah. And one thing I'm happy that they keep improving on it and stuff. So Yeah, I mean, I like it too, and so I
Oh,
haven't
and
been
here's
using
another
more.
weird one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
My bad, I
Oh,
didn't
no,
mean
no,
to
go
interrupt
ahead.
you.
Yeah.
It's weird that it seems like the Hisense Google OS or the Hisense just Android in general is faster than the Sony. I don't know why, but it just feels like it's snappier than on what I had with the Sonys.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know, yeah,
I
weird.
think they probably put more into making sure the Google TV
Speed,
works,
yeah.
yeah, faster than, than other, portions of it. That's pretty good. I didn't have no
And people,
problem with
like,
the
say
TCL.
oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I didn't have any problems with TCL. I thought it was just the
Yeah,
same experience I had with the Sony, so, it was okay. It wasn't life-changing, but
yeah.
it was just okay.
It's like people knock TCL and Hisense, a lot, and, like, "I don't want this cheap TV," and it's like they put a lot of care and attention to detail to a lot of what they put in, right? Like, they have
Mhm,
Wi-Fi 6E, other TV manufacturers still use Wi-Fi 5. Like,
mhm,
they still have these little improvements that other manufacturers don't. Like, they have a faster OS a lot of times where
mhm.
some manufacturers still are using slow. I will say shout out to Samsung. My goodness, Tizen OS is fast this year. Like, that thing is speedy, man. I love Tizen OS this year. I Biggest improvement I've seen in a OS thus far. Like, I have the S90D 42-inch, and I'm constantly moving in and out of stuff with it.
Mm,
It is so fast, dude. And then
that's
now
good.
they added a shortcut where you hit the gear button, and once you hit the gear button, you can go up, and there's a selection for your last input right there just by
Oh
selecting
my
up.
I've been
So
complaining
it's like
about that for years.
really awesome little shortcuts there. There's
Yeah.
also little shortcuts where I can turn off, game mode,
Mhm,
there as well, and then just, like, things that they feel make sense there. I
mhm.
guess it's, like, AI based or something, but I think it's cool. So yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff there with Tizen.
Oh, no, that's good. Yeah, cause
It's like LG still feels really clunky, man. I'll be honest. I don't think LG is as good as Tizen right now, which is crazy because I would have said the opposite 2 years ago.
mm. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know why the colors just changed on this, but yeah, it's kinda interesting, to say the least. Yeah, I'm just going through these TVs right now and stuff, so give me a second. Wow. Yeah, is there any other questions or kinda curious?
Oh, pretty
Just
cool.
looking at this.
Like, made everything
Looking
transparent there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna take a second to, change and stuff. I'm figuring this out. It's gonna get better.
It's all good.
What was that? Hisense,
Looking at the
U.
QD6.
Yeah, no, I was looking
Just
at
a
UA.
direct lit TV, 60 hertz.
I was about to go to. Oh man, why does it keep changing colors?
Wait,
I think
this one
it's
might be 120 hertz.
yeah.
I can't remember. No, the QD7 is 120 hertz.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
do a Hisense guide too. I just don't know which TVs to include. That's the problem with doing the Hisense and the TCL guides. It's like I don't know what TVs to include.
Hold on for a second. Um, is this cheaper than the TCL? Did I just look at this correctly?
Yeah, they will be the same price though. This is like some weird pricing they got right now. Some
So it's
sizes like
$100.
Hisense is more expensive. Other sizes, TCL is more expensive. So I think it's all gonna match pretty soon.
Yeah, because I'm just about to
899
say,
is the price though for a 65-inch,
and we just looked at
of the
TCL was
U8
at
and the QM8.
yeah, because it was
I don't remember, but yeah, I think it was
TCL was
999.
yeah, it was 999 for the QM8. Um,
It will be 899 though.
that's a that's a good price and stuff.
Yeah,
So
but, like, type in 65-inch S90C, bro. I think it's still on sale.
let me do this.
You coulda just did it in the search bar.
Oh, I thought oh, why is it changing colors like this? But, um
There
oh,
it is.
yeah, I really cut this. Yep, got it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, never
Like
mind then. I'll take that back.
right, well, why would anybody buy a U8 or a QM8 over a 65-inch S90C?
That is a really good price. Ooh, there you go. There you go. KG
Yep.
with the sales right here, so, um, yeah, it's crazy. It's gonna take a second for me to close out that box, but, yeah, that's a really good deal. Alright, last call. Any other questions? Let me see, I'm just checking right now. Like, we got Kobe, plasma, soup. Yeah, it seemed like we
I don't
got
see any
everything else.
questions.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't see any questions,
No,
unfortunately. I don't
no.
know.
It's more about TVs, and I kinda, like, brushed on the PS5 Pro a little bit and stuff, so,
Yeah, let me get your
um,
thoughts on that before we go. What's your thoughts
yeah.
on the PS5 Pro? I got a little bit of experience with it, but I wanna hear your thoughts. Is it everything you thought it was gonna be? Is it better than you thought?
It's everything that I thought it was gonna be. So I had every single PlayStation since the '90s, so I can say without a doubt that the PlayStation 5 Pro was kinda like the same hype that well, I wouldn't say hype. It was the same news than when the PS4 Pro came out. And you do see the difference, I will say that. For me, I think the biggest improvement, in my opinion, because I have an 85-inch screen TV, is that I see a lot more detail than when I was playing on my PS5. And when I was looking at the PS5, I definitely could see um, certain things that if I was on a smaller screen TV, I wouldn't have noticed. But looking at an 85-inch screen, you notice when it comes to detail wise, it was definitely lacking on the PS5. This console, the PS5 Pro, this should have been what we should have got when the PS5 launched. That's kind of like where I'm at with it. I wish that Sony would have came out with this console in 2020, and just because I feel that this is what the next generation is supposed to be and stuff. So it's a good console. It is pricey. I am not disputing that. I mean, $700 is a hard thing to swallow when it comes to getting this console. But I would say that if you're still on the PS4 and you're thinking about getting getting to the PS5 realm or something like that, I would say the Pro is a good console to get. I'll wait for the price to go down a little bit. I know it's probably gonna go out come down next year when they start doing some bundles with depending on what games, the hottest games. But I noticed a huge difference when I was playing like God of War, Ragnarok, and I was playing Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man. I see the details of what everything is enhanced wise, and even Forbidden West. I noticed some huge differences. And one game that I started playing, and the funny thing about the is that I was playing Last of Us Part Two. I was playing it on the PlayStation 4, but that was like right before my first child was born, and so I stopped playing it. So I haven't really played that much. I got the remastered version. I played it on the PlayStation 5 a little bit, and then I stopped playing it like for like a year. And once I got the PS5 Pro, so I put the game back in, and I can't stop playing that game. It's just like it is an I would say it's a difference. I want to say it's a 90-day difference. I want to go out and say that, but you do see the details in there. I see the response is a lot faster, snappier. It's just like certain things that you just expect to see out of the PlayStation 5 Pro, but if a person who already owns the PlayStation 5, it's it depends what camp you are. If you're in the, like, the latest, greatest tech, go ahead and buy it buy the console, but if you're just a casual gamer, you'll be perfectly fine with the PlayStation 5. And I want and that's kinda like where I'm at with it. It's like you don't have to go out and buy that console and stuff. So that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the sort of the same way. It's like I I thought there was some pretty interesting things that I saw
Mhm.
with the PS5 Pro. Uh, we were looking at it and we were like, "What is going on with some of these games?"
Mhm.
As I was seeing, like, motion artifacts or
Mhm.
some sort of artifacts, just, like, some sort of shimmering in games that, like, I didn't notice before.
Mhm.
Like, so I don't know if there's something going on with that, but there are games where I feel like they should look better than they do in
Yeah.
PS5 Pro mode, and I don't see a huge improvement in a lot of games.
No.
Like with like The Last Ronin, yeah, man, there's some weird things that happen with that game, and I don't know if that one is even really fully supported or not, but we tested that, and that was an artifact nightmare, and I don't know, like, why, but, like, I saw shimmering artifacts,
Mhm.
and I saw, like, motion artifacts. So it's not perfect. There's definitely something going on behind the scenes where I'll notice some things. You do have to, like, be looking for it though,
Yeah,
right? Like,
you
I'm
really
not
have to
saying you
look
won't
for
have
it.
a good experience with it, but
Yeah.
I saw some things that I didn't expect to see, to that degree. And personally, I recommend people build a PC, honestly, for most people, unless
Yeah.
you're looking for just the PlayStation 5 experience. Um, and you don't
Yeah.
have a PlayStation 5 yet, and you're willing to spend this kind of money, but don't get rid of your PlayStation 5 for this.
No, I
I don't
wouldn't
think
do
it's worth
that. Yeah. I will I think right now they still trying to ramp up a lot of things, as in games to get it enhanced.
Also, yeah, there's no games.
Yeah, and
There's no
so
games.
yeah, so it's just like the PS4 Pro. I remember when I got the PS4 Pro. It was the same experience. It was the same exact experience. There are games that took advantage. Developers took advantage of the PS4 Pro at the time. You do see some minor enhancements and stuff like that, but the majority of the time, it's kind of like it's not a leaps and bounds as in like, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to see as a next gen," and stuff. So, that's kinda like where I'm at with it. It's just,
Mhm.
and I mentioned in my initial impressions, I gave it like a 7 out of 10. It's good. It really is good, but I think what's really hurting Sony on this is that it's the lack of games that really take advantage of the enhanced portion of it, and then 2, really number it should be number 1. Number 1 is really the price. They should've just priced this at 590 no, 499 for this console, and then 3, it's kinda like a slap in the face. They didn't add a disk drive to it. They didn't even add a
Yeah,
stand
it's
to it.
frustrating.
Yeah, and didn't even add a stand to it. That's kinda like another thing that was really frustrating about it as well. Um, so it's like those are kinda like the things it's like a backhanded slap as of like you just take it or leave it
I'll
type
say this,
situation. What was that?
the PS4 enhanced thing, I
Mhm,
thought that was pretty cool. Like, there's a
yeah,
couple of games we tried out, where we thought it looked clean, like,
mhm,
it looked cleaner. There wasn't anything that was, like, off-putting about what it was doing. So it's doing some cool upscaling, techniques for
mhm,
some PS4 games, especially, if you play anything that's more UI driven, right?
mhm,
Like, we had, God, what game was that? Some RPG we were playing, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a lot of UI elements on there, um, and it looked really smooth, man. It looked like I was playing a native 4K game.
yeah,
So, like, that kinda thing was cool. I was hoping to see a little bit more, from, like, the PS5 Pro, though, in terms of the performance, in terms of, like, making the graphics look better,
yeah.
but still giving me, like, a ton of performance. It wasn't a huge night and day difference. Like, it was
No,
there in some games.
yeah,
Um, Hogwarts Hogwarts Legacy, right? I thought that looked really good, but there's still hiccups in that game. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have hiccups in a game where I'm playing on a PlayStation 5 Pro, but it happens. So, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue for it, it, it just came out. It's been a week. So, and I know the developers had this for me. I don't know how long, maybe like a half a year or something like that, and maybe even shorter, who knows. But I say give it some time.
Right.
I'm hoping about it. But at the same time too, it's kinda like it's still bottlenecked because of the CPU, so that's kinda like another factor on its own too. And then if we go into Microsoft, Xbox, there's no competitor. So that's kinda like ultimately why PlayStation is charging the price that they're charging. If Xbox would've came out with to
Mhm,
say, "Hey, I'm coming out with a Series X, I don't know, Pro or whatever, or Elite or a Series X Elite or whatever they would have called it, I guarantee Sony wouldn't have charged it at $700. They would have charged, like 599 or whatever, maybe even lower, and probably would have did a disk drive and added some other bells and whistles to it to make it more enticing. But since it doesn't have any competitors, those are kinda like the things that is they say, Why not charge this amount of money and stuff?" So, that's kinda
yeah.
like
I mean,
where I'm at
they're already
with it.
selling it at a loss, but,
Mhm. They don't
like,
care.
they would be selling at more of a loss, and you're right, they probably wouldn't care because they make up a lot of that back anyway, but
Mhm.
I think 6.99 is about what I expected, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
and the biggest problem with the PlayStation 5 Pro, there's no games.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
There's no
games.
games. Yeah. You gotta
There's no
remaster
games.
versions of a
I
lot
don't
of
got
old
games to
games.
play,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
so, I mean, I think next year you will see a lot more games is gonna probably gonna be utilizing it. I mean, rumors has it that GTA 6 is going to utilize it, and maybe hopefully Wolverine will come out, but as of right now, I mean, Sony doesn't care and stuff like that, 'cause this console is made for people who looking for the latest tech. Their bread and butter is the PS5 and stuff. They sold millions and millions of consoles, twice as much as the Xbox. So they really don't care and stuff. So they just threw this out here because they they wanted to, and they can and stuff. So it's kind of like it's
mhm,
up to us to either buy it or not. It doesn't matter to them because they just say like, hey, this will hold you off until we come out with a PS6 in 2 or 3 years or whenever you're gonna launch the new console and stuff. So that's kind of like how I see it. So yeah, that's kind of like my
yeah,
review on it and on the stream. But I'm gonna try to do some comparisons and stuff. I know some people already did some video comparisons, but we'll see and stuff. But other than that, yeah, it's okay.
yeah,
So I'll throw that out there. All right, let me go ahead and see if it look like there's no other questions out here. So before I go ahead and end this stream, KG, do you have anything you want to shout out or talk about, or you have any videos that's coming out and stuff? It's a good time because you always ask me, so now it's kind of strange. Now I'm
yeah.
asking you now.
Well, um, I I probably have a video or 2 coming out in the next couple of days, stay tuned for that. Friday, I think I wanna stream, so we'll try to stream on Friday on my channel, tune in if you guys see us streaming. It'll be around the same time as we started today,
Hmm.
if we do, so keep an eye out on that. But, yeah, other than that, subscribe to Max if you guys haven't already.
Oh, I
Uh,
appreciate
yeah,
that. Yeah, and I know I had some technical difficulties, so I'm still kind of like working that out. But I appreciate everyone still staying in and stuff like that. So I'm still working this out. But yeah, appreciate everyone that stayed in on the stream, and hopefully you guys will subscribe to the channel. Oh yeah, hit the
mhm,
thumbs
and I'll
up
have a
as well
camera next
too.
time.
Yeah, and then hopefully
I'll make
KG.
sure my camera works next time.
Yeah, hopefully KG will come out, have a camera this time. But yeah, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you can. Greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to KG channel as well too. He been putting out a lot of fire videos. I know Classy out here. He haven't came out with some videos, but like subscribe to his channel
It's
too.
coming.
Yeah,
Subscribe to his
so
channel. He's about to
yeah.
make some videos too, so
Yeah, he's gonna come
subscribe
out of
for the fire.
retirement. Yeah, hopefully he come out of retirement and stuff. I do have my buddy in here, Ramon Digital and Retro. He does a lot of gaming news and stuff like that. Subscribe to his channel too. I want to give him a shout out
Plasma
too.
TV gaming,
Yeah, Plasma TV
gaming
Gaming.
tech.
Yeah, gaming tech. Yeah, and I don't know if I got high def in here yet, but we'll get him in there and stuff. So, uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I
I'm
def
gonna.
follow him.
Yeah. Yeah, we want yeah, I'm gonna try to switch it up a little bit in the stream, try to put some different, different flavor to the stream and stuff like that. Hopefully you guys like it and stuff. So I'm streaming now. So yeah, other than that, I'm about to go ahead and sign off and appreciate everyone for joining and until next time. See